I don't even remember the day that I realized that I'm a girl, but rather remember the day that I realized that everyone else thinks that I'm a boy. I was the first person who grew up Hasidic to come out as trans. I was born and raised in Williamsburg in Brooklyn. For all intents and purposes, I grew up in 18th century Eastern Europe, plus we had lights. We spoke only Yiddish at home. We didn't have access to anything of the outside world. TV and radio was like purely forbidden. We had Yiddish community newspapers and magazines, and all of them are without pictures of women. The Hasidic community is the most gender segregated society in North America. If someone could show me a community that is more gender segregated than the Hasidic community in North America, I will buy you a drink. I'm talking, for example, first cousins are not allowed to play with each other at times. In many families, including my own family sometimes, a Shabbat dinner, Friday night dinner, at a home where there are in-laws, the men will sit in the dining room or the family room, and the woman will sit in the kitchen in separate rooms. Not because there's not enough space, but simply because of the gender dynamics. And for me, that wasn't easy. I knew I was a girl since I remember myself. However, there was no way to explore that in any way or form. In my family personally, there was an added level to it, so to speak. I'm a direct descendant of the Baal Shem Tov, the founder of the Hasidic movement, in 5 different ways. And his grandkids have been held to some extent as royalty. To my dad, I was his first son. I never was, but that was to him. And he really wanted a son because he had 5 girls. I have 5 older sisters. And having a son is a big deal for all Hasidic men, I think for a lot of people in general, but specifically for someone who was gonna be a rabbi who has a synagogue. And usually your son is the one who's going to replace you. And then he would tell me my entire life, like I was waiting for a son. You can see like the signs on the streets, which are usually, if they are geared just towards men, they're written in Hebrew. And if they are towards man and woman, they're usually Yiddish.
Why?
Because not all women can read fluent Hebrew. Oh, cool thing though. We're literally passing by that synagogue. That building over there. Okay, this is also a synagogue, run by my cousin actually, but I think most synagogues, not everyone is my cousin, but most people who run synagogues are. I don't miss anything. If I want something, I do it. Like I like the Hasidic food, but I don't miss it. I just make them and buy them and eat them and moving on. Like it's not about missing if I can just do it. I got a message from a really young age that it's not something I can even talk about, and it's not a normal thing to talk about. I was convinced that I'm the only person in the world that feels like I am, which is something that no one should ever experience. And interestingly enough, my parents did pick up on it. For a while, my dad was convinced that I was gay, which is not necessarily wrong, but it wasn't the thing that it was about, but he didn't know about trans people. He did know about gay people because he has been working with teens at risk, which in the Hasidic community doesn't mean drugs. It usually means smartphones and talking to girls, but he was aware that gay people exist. He would always tell me, I think you're hiding something. You're hiding something big. Do I look like a tourist to you?
Of course.
I actually grew up here.
I know.
Oh, you know? What gave me away?
I hear something about it, I don't know.
You hear stuff, okay, yeah. Great. You're born, you get your side curls when you're 3, you have your bar bat mitzvah when you're 12 and 13. You're 17, 18, you get engaged and get married. It's what you do. You don't think about it. I wanted to get married because it also felt like it's going to give me a bit more freedom. There was a small part of me that was hoping that maybe everything that I'm feeling is not that I am a woman, maybe I just want to be with a woman. Turned out that it's not what it was. There was a matchmaker. We were technically, I think, 4th cousins. After that first meeting, we were engaged, and then we didn't see each other for over a year, which is how long the engagement took. And then we got married, and the night of the wedding, you were supposed to do it, so to speak. Part of my identity was religion. And part of me was, if the same people who are telling me about who I am gender-wise could be so wrong about that, they're also the same people, whether it's my parents or teachers, who are telling me all these things about God and religion and Judaism. What makes me think they're right about that? The straw that broke the camel's back was when we started expecting my son, or later my son's birth, because I'm feeling all of these things? What if my child is going to feel the same thing? How do I know? How can I deal with that? And then I was like, maybe there's something online that can help me.
The internet is about the moment. It's about the instantaneous, about the artificial, about the superficial. It's about if you're bored, you click on to something else. It's about being fleeting and empty.
Basically, from a Hasidic point of view, it's a bad thing. And then as they started realizing that it's becoming a fact of life and so many people need it for business, they started focusing more and more on kosher phones to like either block the internet or filter it, and they had different kinds of filters. But I did know a friend who had a tablet. So I asked him if I can borrow it. And I figured that if there's one place in the Hasidic community where there's going to be an open Wi-Fi, it's at a strip mall where there are businesses that use the internet. In there was a unisex bathroom, you know, these like fully closed bathrooms. It's a perfect place to just sit down and start browsing the internet. That is when I went online for the first time. And that's also where literally the first thing that I Googled in Hebrew was whatever a boy could turn into a girl. And from there I found the Wikipedia page in Hebrew. It's talking about trans people that redirected me then to online forums in Hebrew from the trans community, and that is how I started learning about it. The journey, I think that took about 2 years from when deciding to leave until actually leaving was pretty much done. The second I got divorced, I was not part of the community anymore. All of my friends from my childhood stopped talking to me when I left the community. So I started taking first night classes to finish my high school diploma, started learning English totally on my own. I was watching English lessons on YouTube that were meant for Hebrew speakers. And then when I finished my high school diploma, I started applying to several different colleges, and I had a few friends who were pushing me to apply to Columbia. Sure, I was not going to get in, ended up getting in. In the fall of 2014, I started school, I moved on campus, and it was my first time living outside of the community, and it was really nice. And I realized that I'm going to have to transition at some point. It's November 11, 2015. I came out publicly. It wasn't a big deal. I'm just going to share it on Facebook and change my name and posted like a picture where I'm wearing makeup and like said, call me Abby and whatever, like it's a cheesy thing. And I was like, okay, great. Now I'm just going to move on with my life, continue with my education. I posted that at around 11 at night. I wake up in the morning and that post alone had over 20,000 views overnight.
Well, I was just going to say, when you came out to your family, what was their reaction?
I only came out to my dad, and I had a 2-hour conversation, which was the epilogue of the book, which didn't go as much as I was hoping. It's the neighborhood I grew up in. I don't have I feel a bit like an outsider. I don't have a lot of emotion. I think people expect me sometimes. I don't know. I think I've been out for so long. Part of it almost feels like going to a museum. And part of it is just like I know everything that's happening here because I grew up here, and it's nice. My family doesn't live here anymore. I mean, they do, but not the family that I can talk with. So I wrote this book, Becoming Eve, in a big part to tell a story, but also to tell a story that is not just my own story, but a story that people can relate to. I can make sure that no other child has to go through what I go through. We're thinking they're the only person in the world that feels like that. Part about my family, it bothers me sometimes that it doesn't bother me enough that they don't talk to me, because my life is good. I'm happy where I am in life. I have a community, I have friends, I have a chosen family, and I even have biological family, both cousins and some more extended family that I'm really close with. And if you can't accept me, I feel like it's your bad. And I wish that one day they will come around, and I think they will, but for now, life continues, and it's very good.